Okay, we had the new parts come through from the factory. We'll get them on the car ahead of FP1.
Hey, what's going on, guys? aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode, part number 12 today for the Hungarian Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the previous part, be sure to go check that one out before you see this one uploaded yesterday. But we're getting into this one then. We've got a quick look at the chart and the update. We've got quite a big update, actually, not for our team, but for McLaren here. Going from Germany to Hungary, you can see the upward trajectory for the orange line, which is McLaren, obviously, and Renault have been plateauing since the British Grand Prix, and McLaren are pretty much the closest they've ever been to us ever since the Spanish Grand Prix, I would say. And remember back to that Grand Prix, Alonso gave myself and Magnussen a good run for the money, so we could be in for a very difficult race with McLaren. Obviously, historically, McLaren has gone well in recent years at the Hungarian Grand Prix, less about the power, and their car just seems to suit that circuit. Alonso seems to go well at Hungary in a McLaren, so I think we could be in for a very interesting episode in that kind of way. So let's go straight to practice then and see how that goes.
Welcome to Hungary as we prepare for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix. The teams are just making last-minute adjustments to their cars to accommodate for the damp conditions out on track ahead of today's practice session. So it's dark skies overhead then, and plenty of dark looks from the pit wall as well. A frustrating time for the engineers, Anthony Davidson, who I imagine were hoping for some dry running today. But it's absolutely chucking it down out there.
Oh, well, you have to feel for the guys and girls on the pit wall, Crofty. You know, so much work goes into getting these two cars out on track, not just from the pit wall, but from hundreds of people back at the factory too. The race team here at the circuit are just the most visible part of a very wide operation. And then the rain comes, and you immediately know a bunch of things. First, you aren't going to get much running. Second, you're going to see a lot of useless data, even if you do get out there. And third, the odds of needing an emergency rebuild before qualifying just went through the roof.
So practice of the Hungarian Grand Prix started off in some very overcast conditions, and much like Germany really, the track looked very dreary, but thankfully it will be nice and sunny later on in FP2 and 3 and for the rest of the weekend. But I gotta say, Hungary was definitely a bit of a surprise for me. Took a little bit longer to get used to the circuit in the new Haas in the 2018 car than I thought, and you can see actually in FP1 also, the reason why it was a little bit dreary was actually because it was starting to rain a little bit as I went out to do that track acclimatization, so that's why I spun it there. Eventually got running done in the dry, got the practice programs done, but just definitely, just in my opinion, it took a little bit longer to dial into the circuit, and definitely caught me out a few times, especially the curbs are in Hungary, very deadly, so going to have to watch out for those in the race, and also quali as well. And speaking about that, let's just get straight to then.
We hope you're looking forward to today's qualifying in Hungary as much as we are. We think it's going to be a cracker. And as we wait, poised for the start of what will hopefully be a thrilling qualifying, why don't you tell us, Anthony Davidson, about the things you can do to really get the most out of a car in a session like this?
Well, you're largely limited by the Parc Fermé regulations, of course. Back in the old days, pre-2004, you'd work on both a qualifying setup and a race setup over practice, and then swap them over after qualifying. So the race car was quite different at times to the qualifying car. Nowadays, though, you have to find a compromise that works for both. There are a few things that you can still adjust during the session, such as the differential, the brake bias and the front wing angle, but that's about it. So it's more about optimizing what you do have and adapting your own style to suit the track conditions.
So Q1 here out on the ultra soft tyres. I don't feel daring enough and really confident enough around the circuit, to be honest, to go on the slower compound tyre available to us during this session, like I pretty much did at the German Grand Prix. I don't think we'll be able to do it. I mean, in Germany we didn't do it either, but around here doubly didn't feel like we had the pace to do that. So I think we'll only see the top 3 teams trying that kind of strategy right now in Q1, but across the line we're going to go on the ultra softs, and nonetheless we'll get through into Q2. You can see there Magnussen now paces us, so we've got quite a few tenths to find there compared to K-Mag, and in between us is the 2 Renaults and also the McLaren of Van Dorn going very well. Alonso goes better than Magnussen though, so clearly definitely the McLarens are feeling punchier. But then into Q2 we've got another fault on the car, so this is about the 3rd time I think it's happened this season to us, so we're going to have to sit here for a little bit wait for the team to sort that out and eventually get out. That does mean we're a little bit under the collar in terms of how much time we have to do running here around for Q2, and as you can see, a little bit iffy there on the curbing, and that's the exact same curb I lost in practice, but still okay, and hopefully we can round up the lap smooth enough through the final 2 corners and to the last one. At the moment, Vettel gone fastest in this session. Of course, it won't matter. Everyone's just trying to get through to the top 10 shootout over the DRS across the line. At the moment, it's going to be P8 there. It was not good enough, in my opinion. Didn't feel comfortable enough being in that position. We're in P8 still, behind Sainz, but only ahead of Verstappen, so that's why I was a little bit wary. We had Verstappen and also I think Ricciardo. Yeah, Ricciardo was behind us, and he didn't even make it out of Q2. Daniel Ricciardo, a shock exit at Q2. He tried to go on the soft tyre, didn't work out for him, and he got caught out. His teammate did manage to get into Q3 on the soft tyre, but you can see why I was a little bit wary, because if the Red Bulls did go on ultra softs, I would have been screwed and out of the top 10 then. But it might not matter there, because you can see a very scruffy start to Sector 2, getting on the curbing, and then even more on this elevated curb, on the grey curb, and we have completely spun out, and we have to restart our lap then and go on a second set of ultra soft tyres. So yeah, I mean, I started off as I meant to continue very, very scruffy, and I guess I was just trying to overdrive the car really and try and find too much time. And then on the second run, I'm going to get held up by Kevin Magnussen. He's on a flyer as well. I've been hit with a huge amount of dirty air there. And the last corner, I got so pissed off with Magnussen, I sent it down his inside, made contact, and that is not an ideal end to qualifying. Definitely I'm not going to lie, the red mist descended on my cockpit there. I got so annoyed with Magnussen holding up my entire lap, and that was my one and only lap, that, yeah, the red mist just descended. I sent it down the inside, didn't need to. There was no point, and I crashed into the stupid barrier there, where, yeah, well, where our session ended. So we end up in P10, Magnussen best of rest in P7. Not the best kind of mindset going into the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I expect it to be a difficult one, to be honest, based off practice. So let's reset, let's reconvene, and let's go again, and hopefully have a much better day on Sunday.
It's always wonderful to come back to the lively Hungaroring. A popular destination this, nice and close to the beautiful city of Budapest, with some exciting racing to boot. Who can forget Michael Schumacher pushing his old teammate Rubens Barrichello up towards the pit wall in 2010, or those great races of 2014 and 2015 as well. We're northeast of Budapest for the race today at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's talk briefly about Kimi Räikkönen. They've had to change their gearbox. It's never a good start to a Grand Prix when right off the bat you have to contend with a grid penalty.
Fingers crossed that's one failure they won't have to worry about today at least. There's not much of a silver lining to starting down the field with a penalty, but I think they'll be able to make some of that back up over the course of the race.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Bottas, Fernando Alonso and Magnussen, Sainz, Van Dorn, the engineer, and Daniel Ricciardo, Perez, Ocon, Kimi Räikkönen, and Gasly, Hülkenberg, Hartley, Charles Leclerc, and Lance Stroll. Sirotkin and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, so we will be starting P9 then for the Hungarian Grand Prix with some gearbox penalties for a certain Iceman himself in the red Ferrari car. So the championship leader is set back there even before the race gets underway. Strategy-wise, looks like it's going to be a 2-stop ultra to 2 sets of soft tyres. As per usual, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think that will be the way to go for us though today. Aggressive strategy, I think it might work out, and I kind of need a bit more of an aggressive strategy to maybe just, you know, make some overtakes and feel good about the race really. So here we go then to 5 red lights. So the Hungarian Grand Prix, let's make up for qualifying then. 5 red lights are out and we're underway for 35 laps around the Hungaroring, and it's a good start there actually for us. So we're going to get in the slipstream of Stoffel Van Dorn and try and fend off Ricciardo. Remember, a surprise knockout in Q2, so let's see what he can do. And Raikkonen behind us. Those two are going to be flying today, but we're actually down the inside of Van Dorn and also Hulkenberg, I think that was, and we're already up into P7, so it's been a very tidy first turn. And look at that, Magnussen being squeezed out by Fernando Alonso, and so we might almost have a chance to attack our teammate, unless I want to, basically self-inflict some pain on myself by having a tank slapper there. And so instead, I'm looking behind me rather than forwards at defending from Ricciardo. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Magnussen went off circuit a little bit to overtake Alonso there, but never mind. But Magnussen flying high in P5, trying to overtake Alonso here. Very audacious attempt around the outside, doesn't work out, but it's Magnussen P5, Alonso P6, we're P7, Ricciardo P8, and then you've got the likes of Van Dorn and Hulkenberg there. But good start nonetheless, and the fact I can see my teammate already there is good, because I wasn't anywhere near him really beforehand. But now we move all the way to lap number 4, and Alonso is in now for his first pit stop, so he's going really early, and McLaren reckon they can't take those ultras any longer. And you can see actually it was very how do I put it, really? Single file. There's no other better way I can do it. It wasn't exactly the most exciting 3 laps from lap 1 to lap 4 there. That's why I literally moved straight on to lap 4 on that very surprising urgent pit stop from Alonso, because literally nothing was happening in those first 3 laps. It's very much a case of classic Hungary in a way, with the dirty air, but now it's all popping off on lap 9 down the inside of Magnussen, trying to make an overtake. You can see the rest of us are all going a lot longer in ultra soft tyres, and actually more and more that early stop for Alonso is looking even earlier, as now Ricciardo sends one down the inside of me in the second last turn. Very weird place to try and make a move, but he's tried it nonetheless, as my tyres are starting to go off there. I'm definitely feeling the tyre wear compared to everyone else around me, it seems. But we're going to try and overtake Magnussen then down the main straight. DRS open, we've got ERS as well in overtake mode. Around the outside it will be a little bit deep, so hopefully Magnussen doesn't cut across us like has been the case in real life. No, he doesn't, but we haven't made the move finished yet. We need to wait till turns 3 then, or turn 2 I should say, down the inside of Magnussen. Or it might be turn 3, I don't really know, but we're still side by side with K-Mag. Squeeze him out there, and Ricciardo, look at that as we look behind me. Ricciardo very cheekily overtakes Magnussen as well, and he might have a go at me now on the very next lap in sector 3. This will be into it, down the inside the Aussie man goes, and he just catches me pretty much just struggling with tyres and really a lot of pace. We're going to continue on though, even though we're struggling, because I knew Magnussen was going to come in. Didn't want to hold him up. I mean, you know, I know despite the fact I technically have a first driver contract, that kind of would have annoyed me if both of us had been kind of penalised a little bit there, because we are going both well. I think both of us can score some good points here today, so purposely went out for one more lap, but I'm confident I won't fall behind him, to be fair. So let's just see how this goes now. In for our pit stop on a set of soft tyre, this will be. And also the thing is, like I mentioned, those opening 4 laps, it was very single file. It seems at the moment, when, you know, we're on a bit heavier fuel, it is a little bit tricky to pass around here, and I feel like the traffic might help us a little bit this race. And I think also we're not going to lose too much time with Magnussen, because he might be caught up in that. So as we come out of pit lane, let's have a see and test the theory. Then as we come out, it's looking pretty clear out on track now, and there is K-Mag just in the corner of your screen, and he's behind me at the top left, you can see there clearly. And we come out behind Kimi Raikkonen, so that's the only place we've lost is Raikkonen. But Raikkonen, remember, was behind us and he was yet to overtake us, but you would have thought he was eventually going to do us anyway, so that's not a worry, really just Magnussen. Meanwhile, out in the front is Verstappen. He was the only guy in the top 10 to qualify in Q2 on soft tyres and get through, so he's still going strong on softs. Then you've got the likes of the Force India, some of the Renaults, the Toro Rossos, all ahead of then Hamilton. Then you've got Alonso, who's managed to jump Bottas, Vettel, Raikkonen, all of us basically. Alonso's jumped everyone with that very early pit stop. Remember, lap 4, he's jumped both Red Bulls, both Ferraris. He's jumped everyone apart from Hamilton. So effectively, once everyone pits, including Verstappen, technically, I think Alonso could be second on the road. So he's done a madness of a strategy there to pull that off, and he's obviously on, you know, a more aggressive strategy, I think. Meanwhile, now we've got Vettel and Bottas in the next lap or two. They're having a great battle for the main straight all the way down here as we go downhill before we enter sector 2. And Ricciardo's right behind as well, so he might be able to catch one of these guys. Maybe Vettel, looks like Vettel's been squeezed out there and falls quite a bit back from Bottas. We can see up ahead that McLaren of Alonso going really well ahead of those 3, and he was not ahead of those 3 before the pit stop, so that really is just his undercut. That's worked amazing, and he only finds himself, he's only got a Toro Rosso between him and Hamilton. Meanwhile, we've got Magnussen down to my inside there, and he's being very, very punchy, trying to go around the outside to defend, but Magnussen looks like he might have the track action. We're going to give him a fight, though, on the inside. Can we have the inside line? We're going to have to have a bit of a dive bomb because Magnussen has a better line. And oh my God. Kevin Magnussen nearly lops off my front wing there, and my teammate is definitely not, you know, I let him pit one lap earlier than me, and he's not really doing much, doing me many favours there by nearly chopping me off on the racing line. I know he races aggressively, but that's another level. So can we try and overtake him now? Just a lap or two later in Sector 3. He seems to be going slowly now, so he's pretty fast in Sector 1, but Sector 3 I seem to be able to claw some time back, and actually so much time that, look at this, oh my word, look at this, round the outside, the second last corner, down the last corner. That is an unorthodox and unheard of kind of pass. Oh my God, lovely stuff if I do say so myself. But what's this then in front of us? We've got the red car, Raikkonen ahead of us. He's going very slowly. He had gearbox issues before this race. I feel like they should have been solved, but it looks like he's going so slow. We just dive bombed down the inside there, and that's a pass on the man I battled so hard at the French Grand Prix. That was a breeze to get past, and look at that, now Magnussen down his inside. He has definitely got some sort of issue there. We shouldn't be able to pass him that easily, and I think the way he's going around the corners, I think he has some sort of gearbox malfunction maybe, so maybe the team did not rectify it well enough, or maybe, I don't know, they put in I don't know, faulty gearbox, mate. I'm trying to find any kind of excuse for Raikkonen, but he's just going very, very slowly, so that's the only thing I can really tell you until maybe we find out later. I'm not too sure, but we're going to try and overtake Pierre Gasly now, who's going on the soft tires long. He was the Toro Rosso that was between Alonso and Hamilton, I'm pretty sure. That might have been Hartley, to be fair. So I think both Toro Rossos are trying some long strategy here, and maybe they're trying the one-stop from softs onto medium tyres. I mean, obviously went very well for them in Germany, so why not? But eventually, Max Verstappen will make his first pit stop of the afternoon, and pretty much his only one, because he's onto a set of mediums, and so I would say that suggests that Verstappen is going to try and go to the end of this Grand Prix. So I don't know, Verstappen's looking very, very strong. Where does he come out? If he comes out ahead of the train, I think he's got a very good chance. He comes out, ooh, just ahead of Vettel and Bottas. What a lovely coincidental panning shot there to both of these guys, still scrapping away. Ironically, both of them being overtaken by Ricciardo now, so he missed that somewhere, but Ricciardo's overtaken both of them, and so Verstappen now finds himself right up the chuff of his teammate, and surely Ricciardo lets Verstappen through at some point, because Verstappen's on the much better strategy in terms of, you know, Ricciardo's tyres are going to start wearing out soon. Meanwhile, though, Hamilton's still going on the soft tyres after he's made his first pit stop. So it looks like he's going really long in his second stint. Then you've got Perez, Alonso, the two Red Bulls, and then you've got the Ferrari Vettel, and Bottas' Mercedes car. And so all of these guys are already getting in one long train. And then you've got a bit of a wait, and then you've got a space, and then it's myself, the Toro Rosso, and Magnussen. So all these guys, I think me and Kevin need to come together and kind of put our hands together as a bit of a prayer to hope that these guys keep on fighting like this and keep each other in this train, because that means me and K-Mag will just close right up in the next couple of laps. As we've got the Red Bull overtaking Alonso, and you've got the Ferrari eventually coming into the pits then. So we're getting to that second pit stop phase almost, but at the moment Verstappen obviously continues on as he would, but Alonso also continues on, stretching his tyres a little bit longer. But eventually Alonso will come in on lap 19 onto lap 20 for his second pit stop then. So me and Magnussen continue on. So we're up into P4. Magnussen is in P5. But the crucial thing is, even though we're going a little bit longer, so maybe the others might get a bit of an undercut, because they're still fighting each other so close, we're running in clean air. The hope is that eventually, inevitably, that me and Magnussen will close up to them, because, you know, they're in traffic, full stop, and then they're also fighting as well, on top of just being in traffic. That's really going to slow them down, and that's obviously going to be no fault of their own, but just a kind of fault of the circuit, really. It's always that classic Hungary, you know, Monaco without the barriers, as they say. And look at this now, it's 3 wide between the McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull. Alonso coming out of the pits just behind and side by side with Vettel, and that is, I think, Ricciardo, I'm pretty sure. And Ricciardo's actually been overtaken by Alonso, and Alonso is now down the inside of Vettel. Oh my God, Fernando Alonso has just overtaken Vettel and Ricciardo, and has definitely pulled their pants down straight out of the pit lane with some colder tyres. Okay, Fernando Alonso wants it this race weekend, clearly. I said he goes well at Hungary in a McLaren. He really wants it this race. And finally, we're going to come in now on the very next lap, lap 20, onto lap 21 for another set of soft tyres there. And I think Magnussen continue on for one more lap, I think. Or I should hope it's at least just one more lap. But we're in now. another set of softs. The soft tyres worked really well, actually. They were quite a good race tyre, I feel. I don't know how the mediums are, but if practice is anything to go off, those medium tyres really did not feel great. They don't grip in immediately. It takes a lot of time to warm them up. And so, as we're coming out the pit lane, then we've got a good fight between Vettel and Ricciardo still. And look at that, Vettel with a lock-up. They make some contact there, and straight away, we can get the bucket of popcorn out there and watch that fight. But we've also got a fight of our own, as we've got Hülkenberg. We haven't seen him for a while now. We're going to try and squeeze him out, because I really don't fancy fighting the Renault. I mean, we can catch up to the Ferrari here and try and see what we can do with Vettel and Ricciardo. And so we dispatch of Hülkenberg very easily, and then down the straight onto lap 22. Magnussen makes his pit stop, and I hope he comes out ahead of Hülkenberg so he doesn't get affected by him like I almost did. And he's still got Vettel behind Ricciardo trailing him. Yes, Magnussen does get ahead of Hülkenberg there. So we've got DRS actually. We're within 1 second of Sebastian Vettel. So let's see what we can do. But meanwhile, at the moment, we've just got Hamilton still going long on that set of soft tyres. Hamilton's going real long on that set of soft tyres on his second stint there. And then you got the likes of Verstappen behind the Force India. Then you got Bottas, Alonso, then Ricciardo and Vettel. So Bottas has done a really good job at just waltzing away from that initial fight he had with Ricciardo and Vettel. And this is the third place man, Max Verstappen. Eventually, you would suspect he's going to overtake Hamilton at some point in this Grand Prix to take the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Fabulous strategy, obviously, a one-stop, softer, medium tyre, and he's been looking so strong this entire afternoon. And he might fancy a pass around the outside of the Force India. No! He's made contact with the Force India, and his tyre is off. His front tyre is off. And oh my god! What on earth has Valtteri Bottas done there? That is perhaps the funniest crash I have seen on the game so far, and the most stupendous crash ever. Verstappen out the Grand Prix, Bottas out the Grand Prix. I'm a bit speechless. Oh my god, Max Verstappen out of the Hungarian Grand Prix due to what I think was a lapped car. I think that Force India was lapped. I don't think that Force India was actually for position. And he's broken his front right tyre. The contact was so minimal, like, I don't get it. It's almost like Red Bull stuck that suspension arm on the right wheel with like sticky tape or like PVA glue, because that wheel just flew off. And then I don't know what on earth Bottas was doing. If he was looking down at his steering wheel, not looking up ahead at the road, or what on earth was going on through his mind there. But we close up even further to Vettel. But let's take a look at the replay here, because I need to see what on earth, how has that happened? I think that's defied physics. And then I don't know what on earth Bottas is doing. He's going along like he's trying to overtake down the M40 or something on the right-hand lane. He's just powering on. Didn't even look like he was going to brake for the normal brake zone. Okay then, so Hamilton leads the Grand Prix. He probably will lead the Grand Prix after he makes his pit stop, which he does. And Fernando Alonso at the moment is running P2 on the track. He is on for a fantastic podium here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Hamilton makes his pit stop, and due to Verstappen not being there to pick up the pieces, Hamilton does some great work on this second stint, and he comes out in acres of clean space in the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. So Hamilton's got many wins at Hungary, so you know he could be on for another one. But Alonso's there in second. Third place is Ricciardo then, very much getting away from Vettel in P4. And then here we are, P5 and Magnussen P6. So we're literally pressurising Vettel for P4 here right now. He's on mediums, we're both on soft tyres, us both Haas cars, and it looks like I said, in practice, the medium tyres felt horrendous, and it looks like on Vettel's car, they are performing pretty horrendously, because we've got all the grip in the world, and he's got none of it. That medium tyre not working very well around the Hungaroring ring, but at the moment here, I'm trying to gain on Vettel, but Magnussen's got even more speed. I wonder if he saved up a lot of his ERS there, and down the main straight he goes, and we're just going to let him go for now at the moment on the outside. He's got the inside line. I'm going to let him have a pop and see if he can make an overtake there. And to be fair, for us now, we're starting to struggle a little bit with our tyres. So let's see what K-Mac can do. And in the meantime, I'll save some ERS. But straight away now, Magnussen's not looking like he's overtaking Vettel. So I don't know. Once again, Magnussen looks fast for a little bit, overtakes me, and then just can't do anything with any of the other cars. So very, very odd, but we're going to try and re-overtake Magnussen then and use him as a bit of a slingshot if we can to overtake Vettel perhaps and try and find some momentum there. So open up the DRS onto overtake mode, and we saved up a decent amount of the ERS charge here. We're also, we've got a bit of fuel to use, but down the inside we go then, and it's going to be another easy pass. So kind of, I feel like me and Magnussen are on the same wavelength here. We're both trying to overtake Vettel here. It's just about trying to do when and where, basically. But at the moment, Hamilton in first place, then Alonso P2 still. I can't believe that's still quite the podium here. But oh, no! Oh, the Force India! What has just happened? What is this race? What's actually just happened there? What's happened there is the same Force India, has just assassinated Hamilton as well now. Hamilton's got half a front wing. He's got the 2019 spec front wing on. And so now we're looking at the prospect of Hamilton pitting. And this could be Fernando Alonso into the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix in a McLaren Renault. This is an unbelievable race. This might be the craziest race I've ever had on the F1 2018 game so far. I know that's not a lot because I've only had 12 races, but still, bear with me. This is absolutely insane. Absolutely. Yeah, Alonso is into the lead now of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Ricciardo P2 and Hamilton is going to be way down the order now. The Force India assassin of Perez or Ocon, whichever one, it doesn't really matter, has just turned this race upside down. Vettel now into P3. We're now P4 and Magnussen P5. We're now fighting Vettel for a podium. If both of us get this, we're going to be P3 and P4. That will be amazing. So we need to try our best. And look at that. Blue flags up ahead. And you want to guess what car it's for? It's for the Force India of Sergio Perez. Oh boy. Oh, I really hope he doesn't crash us out. I mean, he can go ahead and take Vettel out. That's fine by me. But if he takes us out, I'll be severely peeved off. But what on earth is he doing? He's just driving around like aimlessly, like nothing matters in the world. We're trying to take Vettel now. Vettel's been held up so much, it's almost like Dodgems trying to go around just the obstacles here. And to be fair, we are overtaking Vettel. Perez, Perez into the pits. We're across the grass a little bit there, and we've made the overtake, and we are up into P3, to be fair to us. Vettel now is struggling to overtake Perez there. Magnussen goes on the either side of him, so it's 3 wide to overtake Perez. And Magnussen, can he try and move to the inside? We move back to the racing line, try and block off Vettel a little bit. Vettel now side by side with Kevin Magnussen. Will Magnussen get that? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. I think Vettel might have that down the inside there. Let's look back. Yes, Vettel does have that for now. Vettel uses the downforce of the Ferrari to good effect. And so for now, it's going to be us in P3, Vettel P4, Magnussen P5. Meanwhile, we've got the fight for P1 now at the Hungarian Grand Prix. This is rather exciting. Literally a straight fight for first place here between Ricciardo's Red Bull and Alonso's McLaren. This is very, very, very cool. Where is Ricciardo going to put this here with DRS open? Will he make that classic Ricciardo dive bomb? No, he tries around the outside. Doesn't work out. And Alonso places his car perfectly. So Alonso obviously defending for his life here, for his very first win in a long, long while in Formula 1. But we move on to the next lap and literally the same place, but it might be a bit of a different story because Ricciardo has DRS again, but he's so much closer now. Here he goes down the inside, and he will get that. And unfortunately, Alonso fans in the comments, I think that's his win gone away. It's going to go to Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull, unless he gets taken out by Force India. But Fernando Alonso is still going to get P2 because I am nowhere near Alonso, and I'm in P3. Still looking behind me at defending Sebastian Vettel. I'm literally going away on the right-hand side to break the tow line from Sebastian Vettel. Oh my God! No way! No way! Vettel's got an engine failure, and Magnussen's around the outside. This is an unbelievable race. Vettel with an engine failure. You've got Bottas out, Verstappen out, Hamilton with a front wing issue, Vettel out. This is unbelievable. This has been a race for the ages. This has been absolutely nuts. Vettel out of the Grand Prix with an engine failure. Big blowout there. And Magnussen able to get an easy P4. This is going to be a stunning finish. P3 and P4 of the Hungarian Grand Prix for the Haas F1 team. You've never, I mean, Magnussen's won a race, but you've never seen stuff like that, to be fair, though. Look at that. Big, big smoke there coming from the car. And Vettel out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely. This race, I'm running out of superlatives. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. The Hungaroring chucked up a absolutely amazing race. And Raikkonen is off now with a puncher? Raikkonen's got a puncher in his right. He's already had a gearbox issue, the man. And now he's got a puncher on the front right tyre. It's all gone wrong for Kimi. And it's a... What on earth is Kimi doing? He's lost complete sense of driving. And he's driven to the wall. And then... Oh my God, the Toro Rosso is coming, punting him. I think that's Hartley or Gasly, whichever one has punted him. And they're both now at the Grand Prix. Kimi with 2 tyres broken off his car. It's all gone tits up here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Ricciardo's won it though. Alonso P2. We're going to get another podium this season. P3 for us. Magnussen P4. And I need to lie down. Oh my God.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
So as they climb out of the car, the Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly well-deserved win. So, Ant, How exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, when you overtake that many people, I'd certainly hope you'd win the race. Their car was really effective in the slipstream here today, and the team will be pleased that they didn't cook the engine, given how long they were spending in the hot air behind other cars. They had a lot of confidence to push their tyres hard as well, especially going into the corners, which allowed for some late braking and some exciting passes.
And now it's time to wind down and celebrate after that fantastic Grand Prix. Here they come, your top three, out onto the podium.
What a race. What a race. I don't think I have witnessed a crazier race on a base F1 game, vanilla F1 game, without any PC modifiers to the AI. That is insane. Absolutely insane. Vettel out with an engine failure, Raikkonen out with a puncher and gearbox issue, and then taken out by a Toro Rosso car. Verstappen taken out by a Force India. Bottas takes himself out on Verstappen's broken car. Hamilton with a front wing brake off that same Force India. And Alonso on the podium, and we're on the podium. Insane. Absolutely insane. We remain P3 in the championship. Constructors ahead of Red Bull and ahead of Magnussen. It's time, though, for an interview.
It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
I'm going full on cocky. Maybe they should expect more from me, because this it's been a good roll so far.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
I'll say so. Yeah, definitely getting a lot of positions. I think that's a small understatement, to be honest. And so we're going to go with the top one there. I think the car was quite nimble to dodge everyone as well.
You must be thrilled to be up on the podium.
Of course, really happy with the podium. Second one we've had, but also I feel like just putting some faith in the team will be really good as well. Being like I've repaid them in a way, so we're going to go with the bottom answer there.
So talk us through what happened between you and your rival today.
Even though it's talking about a collision or like any contact, I feel like literally the right-hand side is actually true. We were pushing each other throughout this entire Grand Prix to do better, and both of us came home with great results.
Great. Well, that's everything.
And so that is going to be the wind down after what is a crazy Hungarian Grand Prix. Literally, guys, smash that bloody like button. Like, I don't... If that doesn't deserve a like, I don't know what does in an F1 career mode, because that has been literally the most insane race I've ever seen on a vanilla F1 game, on the base game, at the very start of a game cycle's year. Wow, 12 episodes in, and we get a race like that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We don't get the contract perk. That doesn't matter. That was, I think it was qualifying 4th or above. That doesn't matter. I don't think we're ever going to qualify 4th or above anyway. But the team rep goes up, and then finally it's time to do some upgrades. After much debate, we're going to go for a drag update here, because it's been a long time coming. It's the first time we can do a drag update, and if it's anything like 2017, the drag updates were slightly overpowered. Like, they were really good. The drag updates meant you literally flew in people's slipstreams, and that's what we're going to need for the next two races at the Belgian Grand Prix and the Italian Grand Prix. But remember that chart, guys. Remember this chart. I just want to point out that even though we've got a little bit lucky here with P3 and P4, look at the line that we're at as a team. We are now technically as good as Red Bull were at Australia. That is the rapid progress we have made this season. And so you can say in the comments, oh, it seems so easy, but the team and my teammate are doing so well with me. I've said it so many times. It's been so refreshing to see how good Magnussen's been this season at pushing me hard. And the team is genuinely this fast. Like, we're literally on the level of Red Bull. If we went back to Australia with this car and everyone else was the way they were at Australia, we would be on level with Red Bull in terms of pure qualifying pace. So it's been astounding progress, and I can't wait to continue on for what is still half a season almost left of this first season in F1 2018 career. It's been nuts. It's been nuts. So guys, if you have enjoyed it, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around, do get subscribed for weekly full-on content. I've been out. Have a home tour rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.